County Commissioners regular meeting. If you please stand and have the invocation from CFO Hannigan and pledge allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we ask for your blessing upon us as we gather here today. We pray for your guidance in the matters at hand. We ask that you help us to work together and encourage us to be the best we can be. Please hear the special intentions each of us hold in our hearts. We ask this in Jesus' name.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated.
Adequate notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given of this meeting by forwarding notice to the South Jersey Times and Elmer Times Company, and by posting notice on the bulletin board in the Salem County Courthouse and the 5th Street Office Complex, and by filing notice in the offices of the Salem County Clerk and the Clerk of the Board, all having been done at least 48 hours in advance.
Roll call, please.
Director Laurie?
Here.
Deputy Director Ostrom?
Here.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Here.
Commissioner Taylor?
Here.
Commissioner Timmerman?
Yes, ma'am.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Commissioners, what's your pleasure with the minutes?
Mr. Director, I make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes from the May 15th regular meeting. These minutes are to be received, approved, and recorded in the minute book.
I will second that motion, Mr. Director.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Ordinance.
An ordinance of the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Salem, New Jersey, appropriating the sum of $1,925,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund for the completion of various capital improvements and the acquisition of various capital equipment.
Can I get a motion and a second to open up the public hearing?
So moved, Mr. Director.
Second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Roll call. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Timmerman?
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy Director Ostrom?
Yes.
And Director Laurie?
Yes. Public hearing is now open on the first reading and adoption of the ordinance 2024-001.
First, I'd like to let the board know that the advertisement on this ordinance did not include the date of this meeting. So therefore, I don't think that you may adopt it at this hearing. Secondly, could you describe what the purpose of
I'm
this
sorry,
ordinance
can you
is for?
state your name? And
Katie Coleman.
I don't know who you are, I'm sorry.
Alloway, New Jersey.
Okay, thanks.
As far as the advertising.
I'll have to look. I thought it was changed back on the advertisement. Do you have the advertisement? Is it in your newspaper?
Other than that, I'm just curious of what the purpose of the $1.9 million is.
So it includes the rehab of the fuel depot. We have to remove the current depot and replace it, and it also includes the acquisition of vehicles.
Any other public for the public hearing?
Well, thank you guys for having this meeting. As you guys are aware, there's great concern for the, Ed McKelvey, Alloway Township, I'm sorry. Great concern for the jail.
Ed, this is just.
Okay, I see it's not on the agenda.
No, it is.
Yeah, but this is a public hearing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, you'll be fine.
We'll forgive you.
Okay, I didn't know if this was just a public session for everything.
No, we'll have plenty of those.
Mr. Director, I make a motion to close the public hearing on the bond, the capital improvement ordinance.
Second the motion.
I have a motion, second roll call.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Timmerman?
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy Director Ostrom?
Yes.
And Director Laurie?
Yes. We want to hold tables for throughout the, if it was advertised with the date.
This meeting?
No, the advertising for this ordinance. Excuse me?
Yeah, you need to the appointments today. What? Should do the, okay.
So go ahead with it?
Yeah.
And then if it's incorrect, we'll...
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk louder. Those mics don't work. These are the ones that work.
Yeah, but they're only for the live stream.
Hello.
Okay, we'll talk louder. Sorry. We're discussing tabling the ordinance, well, no, not tabling it. We're going to pass the ordinance, and there's some discussion of whether it was advertised correctly, and if it was not, we'll have to go back and we'll have to redo the ordinance or redo the vote. But we're going to go ahead with the vote, and if there's a problem later on, we'll take care of it at that time. This is on the final reading and the adoption of ordinance 2024-001. So can I get a motion to approve, to adopt?
So moved, Mr. Director.
Second the motion.
I have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Timmerman?
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy Director Astra?
Yes.
And Director Laurie?
Yes.
5-0.
Resolution, Administrative Committee.
A1, resolution awarding a contract for providing industry-focused training and internship program services for in-school youth in Cumberland County by means of the Cumberland-Salem, Cape May County Workforce Development Board. A2, resolution awarding a contract for providing one-stop career services, WIOA, Title 1B, adult dislocated worker and youth programming services for Cumberland, Salem, and Cape May County by means of the Cumberland, Salem, Cape May County Workforce Development Board. A3, resolution authorizing a license agreement between Salem County and Atlantic City Electric Company for placement and maintenance of aerial and underground cables and equipment in Atlantic City Electric Company's right-of-way middle mile project. A4, resolution authorizing a license agreement between Salem County and Verizon New Jersey, Inc. for placement and maintenance of aerial and underground cables and equipment in Verizon's right-of-way middle mile project. A5, resolution authorizing an inter-county agreement for the Regional Rehabilitation and Re-Entry Center of Salem, Gloucester, and Cumberland counties. A6, resolution authorizing the execution of shared service agreement with the County of Gloucester for the housing of Gloucester County inmates. A7, resolution authorizing a First Amendment to license agreement with American Towers, LLC, and the County of Salem for the use of certain portions of a tower facility in Quinton Township, Salem County, New Jersey. A8, amended resolution authorizing county entity to exceed the county entity budget request cap for calendar year 2024, Public Law 2015. A9, resolution, second reading of Resolution 2024-182 to exceed the county budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 40A:4-45.14.
Resolutions A5 and A6, we will wait on voting on those until after the public hearing. But can I get a motion to approve A1 through A4, A7, A8, and A9?
Mr. Director, I make a motion to adopt these 7 resolutions.
Mr. Director, I would like to motion to the floor that A5 and A6 be tabled for further review and discussion by board members.
We have to leave a motion on the floor, so.
That's not appropriate.
That's true. I can make a motion anytime I wish. It's a motion on a motion, I would agree. But I would ask if they be tabled.
We're just considering the other 7 resolutions, Mr. Ramsey.
Well, you asked to have them tabled through the public portion. I am motioning that we table them for further discussion by board members.
Maybe you can we can table them after the public discussion. If you'd like to have that motion. You can have it now if you want, or you want to wait till after public. They're already off.
So, Mr. Director, I will second the motion so that we can proceed with the 7, and then I think we can address 5 and 6. So I will second the motion that, made by Deputy Director Ostrom that we move A1 through 9, excluding 5 and 6.
I have a motion and a second. You want to have if you want your motion heard, you can.
I'll withdraw the motion.
All right. All in favor on motions?
You want discussion, sir?
Any further discussion on those?
I just want to point out that many of these, as you can see, are related to the broadband project. These are echoing resolutions that have been passed by Cumberland, looking into poll agreements with the utilities involved, and and also changing the use of the Quentin Tower for use with both the 911 system and the new broadband system, just to clarify what those are about.
Thank you, Mr. Ostrom. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Passed unanimous. Moving on to the 2024 budget, adoption of the 2024 Salem County budget. Can I get a motion and a second to open the public hearing?
So moved, Mr. Director.
Second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Timmerman?
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy Director Ostrom?
Yes.
Director Laurie?
Yes. The public hearing is now open. Please limit your comments to the 2024 budget. We have other public comments a little bit later on for anything else, but this is to do with the budget. Please step forward, state your name and your address. Excuse me?
Did you say full address?
He's
Did you say full address, name, and what?
just down, it's fine.
Jessica Bishop, Upper Pittsgrove. I just wanted to make the board aware that the budget advertisement did not include the total number of employees to be employed in the current budget year pursuant to New Jersey Statute 40A 4-6.1. The budget advertisement also stated it would be available on the website. It was not. Required by law is for that budget to be available by request in the clerk of the board's office and the county clerk's office. Someone came to the township or the county buildings today and could not get either of those documents. The budget advertisement also wasn't on the public bulletin board as required by law. Lastly, the budget pursuant to NJSA 40A-4-8, the budget should be sent to the public libraries for inspection, and the public libraries also did not have that. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Hello, I was going to say good evening, but it's not evening yet. My name is Peggy, or Margaret Crammy. I live in Elmer, New Jersey. You want the physical address?
No.
Page 15 on your 77 calculation cap, the 2024 budget claims a exception for the jail amount of $814,150 in order to increase the tax levy by that amount. What statute does that fall under? I guess that would go over to that table.
So I mean, this is just the public comment portion. I don't have the actual document in front of me to be able to address that on the spot like that, but we'll continue to hear comments.
Oh, well, I like that answer. How do I go about giving that answer?
You can reach out tomorrow to me, and then we'll find you an answer.
Okay, is there an actual statute for that, or?
Ma'am, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Hi, Maggie Maxwell Mood, Quinton, New Jersey. A piece of the rumor mill today had an unequal approach to spreading the budget increase amongst the various municipalities. My problem, Quinton's getting 14.2%. We're retired, own our home, and we basically live off of $5,000 a month. $900 of that goes toward taxes, real estate taxes. If you raise our taxes, I will bend over backwards to make sure no one on this board ever gets elected to any position. It's unconscionable that you would take a community, a county, various townships and municipalities who are poverty-stricken and increase your budget to an excessive amount to create another shared services that's only going to increase and cost more money as you progress through this next coming year. I, too, could not find the budget online anywhere. Found a lot of documents, read a lot of resolutions, and was a little bit, a little bit upset with the fact that I see $3 million here, $1.9 million there, as in addition to the current budget that was approved last year. So, I don't think it's quite fair that you're going to give us an increase in our real estate taxes, and I am very upset and very disturbed. I haven't been in this room in a very long time. I haven't complained to anyone in a very long time. But I tell you, when I start complaining, it's going to hit the fan. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Katie Coleman, Galloway Township. This is not public comment. This is a public hearing. And the fact that there's a cap exception of $800,000, and you can't explain specifically why that is a disgrace. Your budget is great. The expenses have not really increased. So what's the $7 million in the capital improvement fund that you're squirreling away? It's not in the capital budget. What's that for? There's $3 million in the capital improvement fund already. In the next 6 months of 2024, you're going to spend $10 million? What is there a purpose for that? Or you're just doing it to raise taxes the maximum you can, so next year the increase it'll be 5% instead of 10% again. 6% 2 years ago, 6% last year, 10% this year. You get a boon in revenue from these warehouses. You've got municipalities and schools that are raising taxes. You guys got a prime opportunity that's $7 million, 10 cents on the tax rate. So all these municipalities that are having these double-digit increases, you can make a huge impact. You guys all have money, great jobs. It doesn't impact you. It's going to impact my tenants because I'm raising their rent. I'm not going to eat that. It's going to impact the people that come to my restaurant because I'm going to raise prices. And nobody can answer me. You're just going to look with blind luck. You're not even close to the debt ceiling. If you have an immediate need, issue bans. Pay for it over a couple years. You're 1%. You're allowed 2%. I mean, that's just nuts. And everybody's just going to look at me with blank faces. I don't know anything about this, but I hear a rumor that Gloucester County's going to do $1.5 million for some COVID funds for the inmates. And I can't imagine you'd approve an extension of their shared service without getting that in. You're going to shut me down if I talk about the jail, but it's budget related, so I'm going to bring it up. You can't pass a resolution to create an authority without going to the local finance board first. That's in the statute. You're just doing everything willy-nilly. Nobody's looking at the actual law. Nobody knows what they're doing. You got the CFO of Cumberland County and the administrator who are father-son negotiating these deals. I mean, and you almost got away with it. 4 o'clock in the 5th Street conference room. The fact that I stumbled on all this is just, it's kismet. Anyway, I hope you'll consider eliminating that $7 million of capital improvement fund, reducing the tax rate by 10 cents. Yeah, I know the county rate's going down 2 cents. It's baloney. It's, smoke and mirrors. You all know it. We've done it for 10 years. And there's 10 cents, everybody. 10-cent reduction in everybody's tax rate. That's my 2 cents. My
name's Lisa Swain. I'm from Clinton Township, and I truly hate public speaking, but I'm going to give it my best.
Could you say your name again?
Lisa Swain. Okay, I also live in Clinton Township, and I heard the rumor that my tax rate is going to go up 14%. I can't afford that. I'm close to retirement. My husband's retired, and he's working a second job so we can make ends meet. Let's talk about the budget that I've been hearing about tonight. A lot of people in this room probably don't know about the waste that's going on. There is a tremendous amount of waste going on in that building across the street that's owned by the Sweeneys and the Campbells. The bottom floor, the basement, is being rented, from what I hear, about $22,000 a month for a period of 10 years for the Salem County Improvement Authority, who no longer uses that building. They bought the glass place out there by where the dump is. Why is that? We're talking about an astronomical budget. You want us to all pay out of our pockets for this stuff. And you're letting that waste go on across the street. Now you're subletting it again to, I forget what it's called. Some place. But where's that money going? How are you recouping that money? $22,000 a month for 10 years. That's a lot of money. And then you turn around and buy that building out there? That's crazy. Okay? That's about all I have to say.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Al Parker from Pennsville, and I want to talk about the taxes too. I can't believe I've never been to a meeting like this. But when I saw the rate increases coming for taxes, I'm paying almost $10,000 a year right now. And let me just bring up some things here that I hope everybody can hear this. New Jersey paid $7.3 billion in 2024 for 894,000 illegals. $1,600 per worker, $2,100 per household. This is right online. I looked it up. For every 1,000 workers, it raises our taxes to $1.8 million. Medical, they spent $14 million per year. Legal services, $15 million per year. Discounts for Easy Pass they get. Discounts for New Jersey Transit for students. Free parental and contraceptive programs. $5 million a year for 2018 for college tuition. $624 million per year for public safety for illegals. $775 million per year for education costs. 2021, $1.5 billion for general accounting for aliens. 2022, $34 million for hospital services. 2024, K-12 education, $775 million. That's just 2024. 2021 to 2022, cost of education per student.
Excuse me, Al.
This is unbelievable.
This is a budget hearing.
Yeah.
It has to do with this budget, not the federal budget.
I'm still saying, why aren't people looking at this, what New Jersey is paying out, and they're going to attack us to pay more taxes when all this is going on? $27,000 per student. I know it's just, you're talking about a budget. What about the people's budget where we live at? I'm retired. My wife's still working. This don't make sense. Somebody's got to fight this. Somebody's got to do something. And I hope enough people stand up to run this thing out of business, because this is crazy. Thank you.
Thank you, Al.
Ed McKelvey, Alloway Township. I don't know what the answer is at the county level, but what we have experienced at our level is when we get pushed up against the wall, there comes a time where you have to say, no, we're not doing it. And so far, when we've done that, we've done it. And we're Alloway Township is we still have our building, we still service our people, but the state of New Jersey is out of hand, as Mr. Parker just gave you just a little tiny piece of the pie, how screwed up this state is And when we accept a quote mandate, well, we're mandated to do that because we have to. What are they going to do? Take Salem County away from us? I just think sometimes we have to have the fortitude to stand up and say enough is enough, and we're not doing it. And some of this boils down even to the tax rate, where I feel as though I've heard that, well, the assessments went up. We've already cut taxes, but the assessments went up. Well, balance it out so that the increased assessments, you lower the taxes so that these ordinary people are not paying more. It's, you know, all you guys already know, people are fleeing this state because of this. And if we don't, at our level, voice to the elites in Trenton, enough is enough, we're done with this. We just keep saying, well, they said we have to do it. And we have some bureaucrat show up in our township who's not even an elected official telling us what to do. It's all part of the same system. And I think we need to change the system, and those of us that are willing to stand up and say enough is enough, I think we can change it. So thank you, guys.
Well, thanks, Ed.
My name is Margaret Danner, and I live in Clinton. And I saw online that the taxes are going up, and there's really a big discrepancy. They go from a 2.5% in Mannington up to a 15.8% in Pittsburgh. That's not fair. It's all Salem County. Why isn't it the same rate across the board? And again, as somebody else said, Clinton is a poor town. We're next to the highest in taxes going up. And I pay a ton of taxes, and I am really up to here with it. And there's senior freeze. I can't do senior freeze because I moved a house. I've lived here since 1976. The taxes are terrible. They are driving us retired people out. And it's just, I just don't think it's fair. I think if we're going to tax everybody, it should be the same. 5%, 7%, whatever, for every single community. Why is one at 2.5 and one's at 15.8? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Mary, I'm going to ask our auditor to explain that, why there is a discrepancy, if you got a minute. Just.
Makes you have 3 acres, when other townships only make you have 1.5 acres. So now my township is making, give you more per acre to build a house. That's wrong too.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Amy Ty. I live at 256 Harding Highway, Carneys Point. I grew up in Gloucester County. I grew up in a town, National Park, and it was a very nice town. My husband and I moved to Salem County because of what it is. Just like that man said, farmers, normal, average people that love their area. In the last few years, I've seen warehouses take away what Salem County's become. And a lot of us that sit here love our county. We wouldn't be here. For me to find out what was going on a Facebook page, which thank you for doing that, to find out my tax rate will go up so high that most of my friends and families will not be able to live in Salem County. It is not the way to do things. It makes it look like all of you are not being transparent. It makes it look like we are a bunch of snakes that are in politics. And you shouldn't be that. Some of you are getting elected in November. Do you want us not to elect people that are supposed to love what our county is about? And still, at this time in our lives, we didn't even know we were getting a rate of May 13% until a lady had to post it on Facebook. And thank God I read Facebook. But there's a lot of people that didn't even know this was going on, let alone the meeting at 4 o'clock. How many people do you know who work in our county could have got off work to be at this meeting on short notice? Not many. I want to stay proud of Salem County. You are my elected officials up here right now. You're supposed to protect all of us, make us proud. I hear that you have a lot. You must be okay, doing okay in your lives, and I commend you. I think I'm doing okay, but I'm not doing enough that I can afford taxes that's going to take me out. I've been an educator as a paraprofessional, and I'm now a secretary in the Penns Grove Carneys Point School District. I don't make enough money that's going to keep me here. My children have bought homes here in Salem County, one in Carneys Point and one in Pennsville. I'm ashamed that I wanted them to stay in Salem County if my elected officials can't be transparent with us. I want you to be transparent with us. Show us what Salem County really is and why we elected you.
Look around here, and I'm one of the youngest people inside this room.
Your name, please.
Jason Bennett, Quinn Township. Like the woman before me told, 4 o'clock on a Wednesday. 2 days notice. Thank you, Ms. Coleman, for the notice. 14.6%. 6 1/4. 5 3/4. A 25% hike in taxes in 3 years for Quinn Township. Not including the average. And our representative over here talking about the average and how it's all taken care of in the whole county. Well, when was this reassessed? Right after COVID. Had to have special paperwork, information for someone to come in and assess your property. So, how can we be at 14.6%? And I grew up in Manatee Township my whole life. I've only been a Quinton resident for about 14 years. 2.5%. That's a world of difference. I understand, coming from Manatee, it's a lot of farm ground. There's not many houses. There's nowhere near the amount of population there is in Quinton Township. But, like everyone's spoken here before, it should be a flat rate across the whole county, no matter what township you live in. You want to do 2%? You do 2%. You want to do 4%? You want to do 4%. But you surely don't rake it up 25% in the course of 3 years and shove it to the people in this county. Especially after the whole thing with COVID. And that nightmare. Everybody's still not back on their feet 100%. Some people are still struggling. Some people are doing better than others. But this is just unacceptable. Unacceptable. So I really do hope tonight this is resolved. If not, it's resolved in the week to come, because you're going to have a lot of angry Salem County residents knocking at your guys' front doors. Like the one before me, you're the voted representatives. Some of you have been on this board for a while. November's coming. Just like the rest of politics in this country. Time for a change. And taxes hiking up ain't the way to go about doing business.
What's the cap exception that you're using for the $800,000 for the increase in your jail budget? a statutory provision? And what's the $7 million in the capital ordinance fund plan for? Capital improvement fund?
You want to know what the
I
capital...
don't know why you're picking and choosing.
Some of the capital improvement funds, just FYI, is for the information and technology equipment that we're buying for roads and bridge improvements, for facility improvements, public works equipment and improvements.
For equipment that is worn out.
The capital budget listed those as funded in prior and future years.
And at that time, there wasn't enough funding to do it, so you moved to the next year to fund
That's not
it.
what your capital budget says. That might be your plan, but that's
We
not
also
what your
have
capital budget says.
the complete fuel depot to be removed and replaced.
$1.9 million bond ordinance or capital ordinance that's not, this isn't funding that whole thing.
Actually, it's a $1.5 million cost to the county to do that right now, and increase.
So you're $8.5 million off.
Well, we listed the other stuff also, so it's
No, but
there.
then you need to amend your capital budget to include that, but that's not how it's listed. And do you have any insight on the capital, what statute that?
Do you have anything you want to add?
That capital budget?
So the 1977 capital is referencing over here. The sentiment goes back longer than the money involved with the county itself. The state reserves the right to certain sections for you take on services or providing services. And when the jail was built, I believe that there was an exemption similar to what they did for some of the other services that the county has, and there was an budget add-on going back to years when we didn't see a budget. So if there is no specific statutory reference other than the lateral, the state allows themselves, if there is an assumption of expense. So the calculation each year is done based upon the expenses and appropriations of the jail, and various allow for a certain section for running.
Years ago, when I worked for the county, we applied for a broadband $27 million budget to unify the 911 center as well as broadband and all of the infrastructure that was needed. Anybody look at any grants for anything?
We're looking at grants all the time.
For
We just got $2.5 million for the from the state to help pay for the $18 million bond that we received to upgrade the EMS communication, emergency communication system. We looking all the time. I mean, that was nice. We got $2.5 million, $2 or $2.5 million from the federal government to help us with the courthouse. We're applying for another about the same amount for future projects. We are looking where we can. Go ahead.
And the broadband. The broadbands are covered by grants, and we're looking for more.
We have grants for that.
So
as
that
well.
capital improvement, is that cost of capital improvement, you're looking for grant money, will that go away from your $7 million increase?
Well, when you get the grants, it goes to that current, we can't anticipate if it was something if you don't have the right. So
You know,
if we
I
get
can
a
write
grant, it
grants
goes into
too
the
and
next-
help you find
It
some.
goes to the next year.
I can help you find some.
That would be one.
Okay,
Thanks, Mike.
sure.
Betty Coombs of Pittsgrove. Mine is just a question of who is the administrative committee? Is it you all?
If more than two commissioners meet, it's a quorum. So we have, our administrative committee is formed of Nikki, Dr. Ostrom, Commissioner Ostrom, myself, our county clerk, our administrator, our CFO, and our solicitor.
But it's not all of you on this,
It can't be.
it only can be a select
It can
few.
only be two.
What usually happens is matters are considered at the administrative committee and communicated to the remainder of the board because we are limited by the sunshine law from having more than two commissioners. If we have more than two, it constitutes a quorum, and therefore it's a public meeting. So things are considered at the administrative committee, then communicated across the board with our administrative leadership at the committee.
Okay, so,
And if one of us is absent, then one of the other commissioners will come to the
so then voting on each of these things, including the, or hearing for the budget, it's, you are all in agreement with them because of the votes that you have taken?
Usually, I mean, people, well, we haven't voted on it yet.
No, not on the budget.
It's voted on here.
Right, the other resolutions you have voted on, yes.
The 7, there are 2 still to be considered.
Yes, yes. Which you all do discuss in length, or you're discussing more, as I understand?
We do discuss at length, but again, it has to be in small doses because of the prohibitions of having a quorum of commissioners.
Is that a state mandate?
Yes.
Sunshine Law, state mandate?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not us.
Well, it's one thing, okay.
All right, can I get a motion to close the public hearing on the adoption of the 2024 Salem County budget?
So moved, Mr. Director, but may I make a comment?
You may.
First of all, I would like to thank everyone for coming here and showing their commitment. We appreciate your input, and please understand that we are not blind to your concerns, and we understand what these kind of numbers do. I've had a number of conversations, I know the other commissioners have as well over the past several days, with our constituents. And we've tried to keep them collegial because we are, as it's been pointed out so many times, your elected officials. We are your advocates. We want to listen to you. We want to act in your best interest, and we will take reasonable comments and have a meaningful discourse with you so that we can better everyone's situation in this county. And as has been pointed out by our auditor, and as Mr. McKelvey knows as well, he brought up the inequity in these increases are not our doing. That is mandated by the state. Now, we don't like that any more than you, and we're trying to mitigate these effects. So rather than attacking us, please reach out to us, especially in advance. We're happy to discuss these legitimate concerns and improve the relationship between us, your representatives, and you, our constituents. We want nothing more than to represent you well. So please continue to reach out to us. We're happy to hear these comments. Let's just try to keep it constructive so that we can all move forward.
We have a motion and a second on the table to close. Do you have a second? Second. Okay, we have a second. We have a motion and a second on the table to close the public hearing. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Timmerman?
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy Director Oster?
Yes.
Director Laurie?
Yes. Motion A10 is a resolution to amend the Salem County 2024 budget. Before comment, can I get a roll call to
I need a motion.
motion and
So
second?
moved to amend.
Second motion.
Roll call?
Okay, so 2024 amendment to budget of the County of Salem for the calendar year 2024 revenue and appropriation summaries. 1, surplus anticipated from $8,190,600 to $10,462,174.42. 3, miscellaneous revenues, section A, jail telephone, from $20,000 to $11,500. Total section A, $5,300,374.32 to $4,994,874.32. Miscellaneous revenues, section B, multi-jurisdictional gang, gun, and narcotics task force program, $35,793 to $35,739. Total section D, $8,451,686.54, $800,2,851,632.54. Total miscellaneous revenues, $25,628,914.56 to $25,600,020, $360.56. Subtotal general revenues, items 1, 2, 3, and 4, $33,819,514.56 to $36,082,534.98. Total amount to be raised by taxes for support of county budget, $77,540,822.68 to $74,880,822.68. Total general revenues, $111,360,337.24 to $110,963,357.66. 8. General appropriations. A. Operations, facilities management, emergency authorization prior year from 150,000 to 0. Subtotal operations, $74,977,115 to $74,827,115. Detail, other expenses, $37,780,115 to $37,630,115. Public and private programs offset by revenue, multi-jurisdictional gang, gun, and narcotics task force programs, $35,793 to $35,739. Total public and private programs offset by revenues, $8,776,686.54. $632,54. Total operations, $83,753,801.54 to $83,603,747.54. Total operations, including contingent, $83,768,801.54 to $83,618,747.54. Other expenses, $46,571,801.54 to $46,421,747.54. Capital improvement fund, $700 million to $600,340,000. Total, $700 million. Total capital improvement, $7,007,000 to $6,347,000. Deferred charges and statutory expenditures, deferred charges. Emergency authorizations, from 0 to 150,000. Over expenditure of appropriations, from 0 to $263,074.42. Total deferred charges, from 0 to $413,074.42. Total deferred charges and statutory expenses from $11,274,701.07 to $11,687,775.49. Total general appropriations, $111,360,337.24 to $110,963,357.66. Total general appropriations from $111,360,337.24 to $110,963,357.66.
Thank you. Do I have a motion and second? Motion.
So moved.
Yeah, and you have a second.
And I have a second. Roll call. This is a roll call to amend the Salem County 2024 budget.
You want discussion on this?
I'll have it after the roll call.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Timmerman?
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy Director Ostrom?
Yes.
Director Lowry?
Yes. I don't know how much you understood for all that, but we heard you. We have, in the last day, we have reduced the county tax levy by almost $3 million. Reducing everyone's tax rate, probably from what it bounced 2 cents to 6 cents. We tripled what we reduced it. Yes, your taxes will still go up. It happens. If you've been out to eat, your price of food goes up. If you've been anywhere, the price goes up. Same thing with the county. Everybody's wages, the employees get more money so they can pay for their food.
Not 14%. Why would you go up 14%?
Sir, please. So there's, and all these rates, 14% gone down, they've all gone down. Did they go to zero? No. You can't expect the county to go negative because my people aren't taking negative raises, because the price of gas that we use is not going down. The price of heating and cooling the buildings are not going down. We get as many grants as we can to mitigate the cost of going up. We heard you. We heard you loud and clear through whatever means you had. My phone number's out there. It was put on Facebook along with all the other commissioners. I got phone calls. I answered every one of them. I know talking with Mickey earlier, he got phone calls. He answered every one of them. I haven't had a chance to poll the other commissioners, but I answer the phone calls. Okay, I try to explain the best I can. We heard you loud and clear. We cut the tax levy by another $3 million. What it means is we took it out of surplus. Our surplus is not what it should be. It was approved by the state. The state said we're close. It's really, we're getting borderline on that. But let's get these taxes down as best we can. We took some out of capital. It took close to $1 million out of capital, so some of our projects aren't going to get done. We'll move on from here. We'll do better next year. We think we have more income coming from rollback taxes on some farmland. There's some stuff coming in for hopefully next year. We can reduce some of this. But you'll have a chance to comment on my comments in a minute. So that's where we're at. Nikki?
I would just echo what you said, just a couple details. Unfortunately, those of you who brought up the inequities, there are still inequities, but again, as Evan explained, that is not our decision. That is the decision of the state based on those assessments. Secondly, as Director Laurie mentioned, we hope next year to be able to do even better, because we're going to start seeing some of the effects of some of the growth, the warehouses, especially in Piles Grove. I might point out the warehouses in Carneys Point were funded with pilot programs, which means the county will not get benefit from the tax dollars that, from the revenues received from those pilot programs, other than some money back on rollback taxes. So this is a problem when pilots are given. The municipality gets the advantage, the county as a whole does not. So we hope to be able to do even better with these revenues coming in next year. And we have, as I said before, been attentive to your questions, and we welcome your input.
Commissioners, any other at this point? Okay. Need a motion to adopt the 2024 Salem County amended budget. I need a motion and a second.
So moved, Mr. Director.
Second the motion.
I have a motion and second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Timmerman?
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy Director Oster?
Yes.
And Director Laurie?
Yes. The public hearing is now open, and this will be comments limited to the 2024 budget again. Please.
I need a motion and a second to open up to, oh, I'm sorry.
You did.
You did? I know. I'm still
You're
reeling
still
through all the numbers.
Yes.
If no one has any comments or hearing, we'll need a motion. Yes, please.
Point of clarity, does the county apply for any grant funding
All the time.
all the time?
Yes.
What is some of the funding being taken for?
I can repeat what I just said earlier, that we got $2.5 million for the courthouse project. We got $2.5 million for the, the health department has grants all the time. I don't know if there's been any lunches or anything, or they're out there, some of the, I would say, how many grants do we get a year?
More than we can,
Well-
more than we can manage.
So you need-
That is a growing problem, is grant management.
So when you say that's a problem, managing it, what does that mean?
Means we have so many grants that we expend a lot of time. And each grant comes with a pages, it could say reams of conditions. And someone has to manage that grant, report on that grant. The reporting can be phenomenal. Grant.
So you say more than you can manage, does that mean you're not managing well? And therefore you're losing funding because of that?
I wouldn't say we're losing funding, but we are finding that the staff that we currently have is not keeping up as well as it maybe should or could. Or with better staffing, you can then see more grants. There's a balance between how many grants you can handle and how much you can manage.
So what's the plan to redress that? What's the plan to address?
We are looking
Staff is not
we're looking at a number of positions in all our departments that, with people who have expertise in grant administration and grant application to help with that process. That said, as I mentioned, the health department has oodles of grants. Public safety gets grants for all sorts of victim protection, sexual assault protection, protection for our police force. There are many grants out there to help our seniors. They come through the health department. And of course, much of the public works you see done, the road construction, is with state grants as well. So there's plenty of money coming in.
But if you don't have staff to manage them, then the people still are benefiting.
Well, I think we have the staff to manage it because
Commissioner,
I'm saying that is a growing problem. It's not necessarily a crisis or something, but that's long term. We have to look at managing grants.
and you said are you trying to hire an administrator?
no, there are a lot of people who have experience in grant administration who can fill various positions in the departments and help with the submission of grants for whatever their department is working. There are a lot of alcohol and drug abuse grants. You have people who have had experience in medication-assisted treatment for drug abuse, for example, who come in from the healthcare sector. They know how to write grants. They come into the health department to do other things in the department, but they are also able to help with the grant administration as well. Just as
So that's something that say under the microscope in terms of
on the dashboard.
better managed.
On the dashboard for sure.
Any other public comments on the 2024 Salem County amended budget? Hearing none, can I get a motion and a second to close the public hearing?
So moved, Mr. Director.
Second the motion.
A motion and second, roll call please.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Timmerman?
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy Director Oster?
Yes, please.
Director Laurie?
Yes. Can I get a motion and a second to adopt the 2024 budget as amended?
So moved, and thanks again to those of you who helped us come to this decision.
Second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call?
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Timmerman?
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy Director Oster?
Yes.
And Director Laurie?
Yes.
The budget has been adopted.
I'd like to go back to A5 and A6, the authorizations, intercouncil agreement, execution of shared services. Commissioner Ramsey, is that something you want to table that or discuss it?
I would ask that it be tabled for further review, discussion. Yes.
A5.
A5.
I'll second that motion. No discussion on the table. Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Commissioner Timmerman?
Yes.
Deputy Director Oster?
No. We're voting to table, correct?
Correct.
Oh, we're not voting to discuss?
No, we're going to table.
I apologize. I thought we were voting to discuss. No, I'd like to discuss it.
Director Lauer.
No. The motion to table has been denied. We're going to discuss A5 and A6. I will open it up to the public for comments on A5 and A6. I know it's not on here, but I will do that. Resolutions, and this is strictly for the formation of the authority, or at least the permission to create an authority to run a tri-county prison, correctional facility. So please, anybody have any comments? Yes.
I just wanted to clarify for 1 second. A6 has nothing to do with the authority. A6 is to extend the current shared service agreement with Gloucester County, the current agreement.
All right. Did everybody hear that? A6 is not to create the authority, but it's to extend, to authorize the shared service agreement that we already have with Gloucester County.
And to clarify that, we already have inmates from Gloucester County to the tune of about 235 or thereabouts in our jail with no agreement. I'm sorry, Mayor. With no agreement, in fact, governing their costs, their services, the expenses they generate, and the management as regards health care and oversight by our sheriff's department. So right now we're flying along with these inmates in there with no agreement governing their occupancy.
Okay, Dr. Ostrom tried to explain, or did a great job actually, at our local league municipality, trying to explain a little bit about the formation of an authority. Several, oh, by the way, Edmund Kelly, still sorry. Yeah, still Edmund Kelly. Talking to several of the elected officials from other townships, there's a concern that entering into an agreement with a county that hasn't been able to keep pace with what they owe Salem County already with the inmates that are already in the jail, and whether it's an argument over COVID money, this, COVID money, whatever it is, I'm not seeing a good track record here. I'm not hearing a good track record from Gloucester County in relationship to our jail. And then I look at Cumberland County and I'm thinking, they don't have any money either. So if we enter into an agreement, I think we really, really, really have to make sure that Salem County continues to hold the reins. Otherwise, we could be out in the cold because we have the least number of inmates. We could be out in the cold with an entity, an authority, operating a jail within our county where they have no residents that live around the jail, but we do. We basically are the host community. We would be like the host community for the jail. Therefore, as a host community of already a county entity, the Salem County Improvement Authority, there should be some rights to that I really think you guys probably have, hopefully you have considered.
May I interrupt for just a moment? Because that has always been one of the primary concerns. Everyone is aware of the problems with released inmates in the area. And we have already conveyed to the other counties, as we form this authority, that a transportation department to return inmates to their origins is a deal breaker. That will happen or it will not come to fruition.
Yeah, I think what some of the other elected officials, and Don Assay kind of spoke a little bit about it in the meeting where you presented this to us, and that was the concern of, do you trust these guys? I don't know if I'd want to enter into a contract with a guy that I've done work for, and he still owes me money, but I'm going to sign a bigger contract, and we're going to make it 40 years, and you haven't been able to pay me for this little job.
So you're not going to come finish my ask
Oh, I'd be happy to, Doc. He
And-
pays his bills.
And let me explain a little bit about what they owe.
Okay, I just want.
Just so you know, they're not evil people in Gloucester County. They're not evil. Neither people are Coleman County. They're our neighbors. We work with them all the time. I mean, people in Gloucester County know people. These are not bad people.
I'm not saying they're bad people, they are paid bills.
And let me explain what happened. There's a minimum amount of payment that they owe. It's in the contract. When COVID came, they couldn't meet the minimum, so they didn't pay it, and it's a legal issue. It's not they're saying because it was COVID, use your COVID money. It's totally wrong. And that's my point. When you go to arbitration, we are taking them to arbitration. Arbitration is the word we're taking them to arbitration. That will get settled in a legal manner. They're not bad people. They have a different opinion. All right, I think they're wrong. That's why. Go ahead. Well, if any of you have been in a lawsuit, both parties think they're going to win. Both parties think they're going to be right, and it takes someone in arbitration or it takes someone in the legal systems to say, hey, no, you're not. And there'll be more coming on that, but it's a totally separate situation from the jail correctional facility itself. Cumberland County's already got $40 million in a bond. Actually, it's 50-some million in a bond ready to put into the project. Gloucester County assures me that's not a problem on their side. They will come up with that money. There's no money coming out of Salem County for this expansion. None. We have, if you look at the MOUs, they actually had pigeonholed something that we were going to pay for. We took it out. They've made a second MOU saying, no, Salem County's not going to pay for anything. We're still owning the land, but the facility itself will be purchased by the authority. So Salem County will be at the advantage. We'll get that money. Even we've already paid for it. So we're going to get that money back in from the authority for the use for our jail. So more money coming in, lower taxes, and go ahead.
Part of what I'm saying is, this is much better than what we thought we heard at those meetings. And I think if everyone will hear exactly what you're saying and what I got from a couple other people that make years, it would help making the elected officials and communities feel better.
Mayor, if I could clarify just a little more using round numbers. The contract, and this is in the contract we're considering here, there's a similar provision. Let's say Gloucester County is, for easy numbers, is paying $100 a day, okay? And they are committed to a minimum of 200 people, okay? So that's $20,000 a day that they owe. And you multiply that by 300, so that's what, 7 million? Right. They are obligated by the contract to pay us 7 million a year, whether or not they use the 200 beds. So what happened, as Director Laurie said, during COVID, they didn't use those 200 beds. They were still supposed to pay us that 7 million based on that 200. Their contention is it was out of their control. It wasn't that they didn't use the service. It's a COVID issue. That's why, and it's not the whole 7 million shortfall there. So that's what this is about. This is not them saying, we're never going to pay you for something we use. And I think, obviously, we want the money, but we can also at least see what their argument is, and hopefully in arbitration that will be resolved. Counselor, is that a fair assessment?
I understand that, but you and I have such between each other, and we have an agreement. I'm going to keep the agreement. Right.
I agree with you 100%.
That's why we're not saying that. But again, it's not like we delivered the service and they didn't pay for the service. It was a retainer, a minimum of something along those lines that and their excuse is, had it not been COVID, okay, here's your money, even though we didn't use it. COVID changed that, and we don't agree, but that's their point.
And if I could just say one thing too, Mayor, about the authority, I'm not much different than you guys. I'm a citizen until a year and a half ago, and now I'm sitting up here and I'm learning as I go. But from what I understand about this authority is it will be made up of all three counties, but Salem County is going to have the final say. I mean, we understand and know what's going on all the time. And although there's going to be input from both counties, Salem County will be the final decider. Salem County will be the final decider.
That's correct. I believe
As it's written, you're correct. It's two members from each county sit on the authority.
One member, only fire. Thank you.
What?
One member from each county, and then if there's a tie, whoever has the most gets
Oh.
the tie. And that is
My mistake. That's changed.
out the state statute that they enacted.
Oh.
that's the point that has been made. This has all been made possible, blessed by recent new legislation, which comes from Trenton. We're not always happy about that, but it's been publicized that this is how it should be structured.
More to come on that.
Scott Brandon, Elmer. You have a contract, they were $7 million because we didn't provide services and they didn't have that many inmates. Did we reduce our workforce at the sheriff's department?
No, we're not. We're just
Okay,
giving
I
you
understand
the
you guys agree that they owe us this money. I agree.
We agree.
I've heard from Gloucester County people, "Hey, we ain't paying that."
We agree.
Okay, but the other question is, when does this run out? The contract. In other words, are we in a rush to try to renew this?
Which contract are you referring to?
The sheriff's services contract.
No.
My concern is you have three commissioners saying, no, we don't want to discuss it anymore, and you have two commissioners saying, yeah, we'd like to review and discuss this. That's a little bit of my concern there. Obviously, these two gentlemen have concerns over it. I certainly have concerns over it. They owe us money. We're holding the stick right now. Is this sheriff services contract expiring soon?
It's expired.
It is expired.
And they're paying us $96 a day per diem. If we approve this, they will immediately go to 136 retroactive to the person.
So they're holding us hostage while we're holding their prison.
No, that's not true. Perhaps you didn't hear what I said. They have approved the contract. We have not, so they are now paying us $96. If we approve this, tomorrow they will pay us $135.
What was the original contract, $100?
Well, I think it was 96.
It was in 80s.
It was 10 years ago, it was around $85. Were they paying that, or is any in arrears?
No, they were paying
paid it all.
They paid everything until the COVID issue.
So they're basically holding us.
No,
Because they weren't going to pay this.
They're true and unrelated. Right now, we're losing $40 a day on every inmate that's in there because this contract there's no contract in effect.
Is there a figure, not to interrupt, is there a figure for what the Salem County inmates cost us per day?
Yes, like $230 a day.
Okay. So we have, I understand there's less Salem County inmates, but how come, well, I guess really the question is, even at that 134, is that covering the cost of the Gloucester County inmates?
No,
No, it does. It does cover the cost. We have fixed costs. We have fixed costs.
Right.
All right. So this offsets some of the costs. If I take one more, let's say there's 250 prisoners. Our costs are fixed. Most of them are fixed. If we add one more prisoner, we got to feed it and house it. That doesn't. It's not $230 for that prisoner. It's maybe $50 for that prisoner, but we're going to get paid $135.
Right.
All right. So it's the next prisoner. It's not.
But what you have done is hit upon the reason for creating the joint authority, is that we will get out from under those fixed costs, and our cost per inmate will be a lot less, much as you have pointed out, like Gloucester.
Right. I mean, I haven't seen anything about the effect. So I've heard rumblings about it. I haven't really seen a whole lot of details. I can't believe it's going to cost Salem County zero. But, well, we'll see. A lot of things,
Just say that.
The
I just
construction-
wonder what the rush is. We have two committee men that want to discuss it a little further. I mean, is there something that has to be rushed through that quickly?
Yes.
Well, it will, we have, again, there are two different things. I believe the contract certainly takes precedence because we're losing $40 a day. We've got a contract in effect, it has expired, and we're losing $40 a day in that contract until we get the new one in. And there is a minimum, as there was leading to the dispute we discussed. So we're basically replacing that with a 5-year contract. The authority has been approved by the other two counties. Or at least the document. This does not create the authority because as Ms. Coleman, who, by the way, wanted to privatize the prison during her tenure. Anyhow, as she has pointed out, we cannot do this without the local finance, the DCA, giving it blessing. So this is basically proving us to go forward for that approval. And that's not going to be a 10-day process, as you can well imagine. So our reason for wanting to press forward is to start that process. Because every year,
But obviously you guys all agree on that. That's kind of the point. Usually folks talk and before they come out, they know what they want to do. There's obviously some sticking points there. So,
well, we're happy to listen to them. Listen to them before we'll listen to them.
No, we're going to vote.
Well, we haven't decided.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
What you think is in there is not in there. Number one, you can't do it without sending the proposed resolution plus a budget and all kinds of stuff to the local finance board to be approved.
We understand that.
This is the
What's
first step. This is the first
No,
step.
the resolution says you're creating, and the agreement says you're creating an authority. So,
We're attempting to create authority, that's correct. But
which you can't do.
But it does mention in there that it is dependent upon the
The statute says the proposed resolution has to be sent to the local finance board along with a budget and staffing plan, the statute lists certain things. And they have to approve it ahead of time. Then you pass the resolution. The thing about the most beds getting the tie vote is if there's an even number of counties. This is a 3-county, it's in your county, there's nothing in the statute that says you can't demand that you have the final say. I don't think this is a bad idea. It could potentially be a great idea. Is everybody aware that this authority is a separate taxing entity? This is not like Salem County is contributing X amount of dollars from their budget based on the inmate population. This authority has a separate taxing ability. It's going to levy a separate tax. It's going to tell Salem County Tax Board what Salem County taxpayers' contribution is. And then it's going to show up as a separate authority on each person's tax bill. So,
we're not voting to do it.
We're
voting to create an authority or at least apply to.
So then the resolution needs to say we're applying.
It says authorizing an inter-county agreement. It's an agreement.
The agreement says you're creating an authority.
We're going to attempt to create authority.
The agreement says we're creating an authority.
We don't have the ability to create
So then
authority.
why-
That's created by DCA and
So
the state has to.
I'm assuming that studies have been done or things have been done to determine what the savings is, what the costs are going to be, what the jail budget at Salem County is going to continue to be even after this is done. Because if you're not getting rid of the Salem County jail budget, there's still going to be some unit or some jail expenses, right? Yes.
Not once the authority takes over.
No, that's you got to talk to people because that's not going to happen. There are still things. You're not going to offload your entire jail budget on this authority. It can't happen. Have you talked to the sheriff about it or the warden?
What can't we offload? I'm interested. You say we can't offload. The entire facility will be under the authority.
So you're still going to have administrative stuff. Like we looked at privatization, right? We thought it was a good idea. You supported looking into it.
We looked into it, sure.
And you're not going to be able to eliminate the jail budget. And I would just had a discussion with the sheriff, with the warden, to determine there are legal requirements that you cannot offer. So just look at it, that's all. I mean, you're doing this all willy-nilly, nobody knows what's,
Believe me, it's not, they're
It
meeting
is.
continuously on us.
so
With attorneys, we're not, the accountants.
can everybody commit that if this is gonna happen, Salem County gets the tie vote? Because why is Cumberland County, what if they decide they want a satellite facility in Cumberland County for their
We
convenience?
haven't even,
Satellite facility in Gloucester County for their convenience.
that operating agreement has not even been created totally, and we've voted on it.
We are discussing a resolution to approve an agreement to create an authority that gives Cumberland County the tie-breaking vote. I don't know, you guys have it on your agenda. So if you think you're voting on something, I'd amend the resolution and I'd throw out the agreement. I mean, I don't know what you're being told, it's in black and white. Is there gonna be, if it's done, is there gonna be protection of corrections officers? Under the shared service law, there is, right? They have to get the first dibs. This is an authority.
We have the
We're gonna start all
support,
over
we have the support of the officers.
Every sport, right? Yeah.
We have the support of those unions. We've already gone to the table with them and let them know what we're doing. We're as transparent as we can.
That's great. So Cumberland County is going to have the ability to make final decisions on Salem County's tax rate, because everybody appreciates that. I want to hammer that home because I don't think anybody appreciates that. Gloucester County and Cumberland County decide, we want a satellite facility for our convenience in Cumberland County and Gloucester County, and we want it to be state of the art. We're on the hook for our portion of that based on beds, right? Regularly, you guys are settling lawsuits on inmates. Somebody gets beat up, they sue, and it's easier just to pay it, right? Happens all the time. It's nothing to say about the operation. We're exponentially increasing that risk, right? We're buying into Cumberland County's lawsuits. We're buying into Gloucester County's lawsuits. They're buying into ours, but it's such a smaller portion.
We've already bought into Gloucester County as we house our inmates.
Well, right.
So
Right. Well, I mean, Cumberland County, they've got quite a bit, okay?
They have some too.
Right. So
Thank you.
I don't know what I was done.
You turned away from the microphone.
All right, I'll let somebody else speak, and then if something comes up, I'll let you know.
The fact sheet that you guys released yesterday evening mentions a $55 million equity repayment. That repayment is not mentioned anywhere in this agreement. When is that being addressed? Or is that a handshake deal?
And could you send me a copy of that? I'd like to give you my email. I didn't see that.
Oh, you didn't get a copy of the fact sheet.
No.
Well, I mean, we keep having these conversations of all these different people that they've met with, and it looks like two commissioners sitting at this table don't even have all the information to be able to make a vote tonight. So just keep that in mind.
Those commissioners, we all know that the property's been valued at $55 million, and that's where every single commissioner here knows that.
That's fine. It doesn't matter to me if it's valued at $5 million. Why are we going to hand it over to Gloucester and Cumberland County and not include it in this agreement? And
this agreement is to create the authority, not the operating agreement.
But you just said this isn't to create the authority, that you have to get TCA approval first to create the authority. Regardless, something that needs to be considered. Also, not in this agreement is how you're going to protect Salem County correctional officers that are Salem County residents. What's keeping this authority from jail closes tonight and tomorrow morning they decide to pay our corrections officers less money? What if they decide to get rid of every Salem County corrections officer and only bring on Cumberland and Gloucester County corrections officers?
Well, first of all, they don't have them, so that kind of ends that.
Or hire new out of Gloucester and Cumberland County. So we don't even have enough corrections officer to be able to jail this many people.
We are not we are hiring as fast as we can, and
there are provisions in the contract with the jail officers, the corrections officers, we need not go into the protect
In this agreement,
in their existing agreement, which will be carried over.
their union contract. So a new authority, their union contract's null and void. The only thing that protects is protecting their union contract is the shared service by law.
It's all civil service and all negotiated.
Right, renegotiate it. So what are we doing to make sure that they're not renegotiated at a lower rate?
Because we have had those conversations with the unions. The unions are approved it, and it will be predicated on them getting at least comparable and probably favorable
Probably.
from the
Okay, probably. Also, your fact sheet yesterday said that the Salem County inmates total 100, and we pay, our portion of the jail costs us $24 million. Gloucester County has 225 inmates and only pay $10 million. So that Gloucester County has twice the inmates and pays less than half of what Salem County is on the hook for. So just making sure you guys, before you make a try.
actually supporting the reason for this proposal with those numbers.
Okay, but you have empty beds. Why don't we fill the beds at the jail first? According to that fact sheet, you do.
No, they're federal prisoners too.
They're also federal prisoners who fill the void.
And how much money do they contribute?
Federal rate, Jeff, is 115, I think. What's the federal rate for inmates? 115, that's what I think it's 115.
So that's also information that would be helpful to have in transparency to the public. Thank you.
All right. Lower Always Creek, just feel the need to correct some inaccuracies and scare tactics. That's kind of nonsensical, especially coming from certain people. First of all, I read the MOU, and this is it's sending it to the DCA to get approval to commit an authority, create an authority. If it even created an authority, doesn't actually require Salem County to join that authority. So if you read the agreement, the power to tax under this authority starts when you vote to relinquish your responsibility for housing inmates to the authority itself. If Salem County decides at some point down the road that they're not going to let our responsibility go to them, this authority never gets the power to tax anybody in Salem County because our inmates that they would house would be zero. Something tells me if we decide not to join and our jail doesn't go with us sometime down the road, the whole authority is going to fall apart entirely because Cumberland and Gloucester don't want to build a jail. So this is all stuff that can't be known now until we get further down the road till we know if we're even allowed to do it. Why would we engage in years of negotiations potentially for what we're going to get paid for the jail, how we're going to get paid back, how the correctional officers are going to move over, all of the pieces of this, and then have the state say years later, no, we're not letting you do it. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So correctional officers, here's how Salem County can protect the interests that are raised here tonight. Jail's worth $55 million. The other two counties say, we're only paying you $40 million for it. Cool, we're not joining your authority. We'll keep our jail. Let's say our correctional officers, we want their salaries to be cut in half. Or, that's what we're willing to take our contract on at. Cool, we're not joining your authority. We'll keep running our own jail. You guys have fun figuring it out on your own. All right, that's what we're doing here. We're creating a shell to negotiate what the deal is. And as far as the vote, I've got to do a little bit of a example. All right, so we go back to the founding of this country, 1787. We're discussing how to develop a constitution and how we're going to have votes apportioned between the states who have a lot of people in them and the states that don't have a lot of people in them. Of course, the big states wanted it all decided by population because they'd get a lot more power. Small states said, no, should all be equal. Should all be equal. And big states are like, well, that's not fair. So what do we do? Bicameral system, one based on population, one based on everybody gets an equal vote. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense for an authority to have a bicameral operating organization. Congress works so well, we probably don't want to mimic how they do things now. However, what are the options for a vote? Everybody gets an equal vote. Salem County's inmate population is probably going to be less than 15% of the jail. So the bigger counties are going to say, why would you get an equal vote? Which is, by the way, in this agreement, essentially what we're going to have on every vote is an equal vote. The other option is to say your vote counts for the percentage of the inmates you have. If Cumberland County is, that's the fair way to do it. If you want to talk about who's putting the most money into it, the fair way is to say it's proportioned based on how much money you're spending. If that happens and Cumberland County has 51% of the inmate population, they get to overrule the other two. Every vote. That doesn't seem very fair. So what do you have? You have a compromise where everybody gets an equal vote, but if there's a tie, it goes to the person who has more inmates. Seems like a fair compromise. Seems like the bigger counties wouldn't like that. Smaller counties wouldn't like that. That's the absolute indication of a great compromise. Nobody's happy. So then you say to yourself, well, what happens in that situation where there's going to be a tie vote? The chances that you're going to have a vote where somebody's going to abstain and then there's going to be a tie based on that probably pretty limited. More likely it's going to be somebody doesn't show up and you only have 2 members there, and then there's a tie vote and then the bigger person wins. Well, here's what you do if you're Salem County and you really don't want that to happen. You get up and you leave the meeting and there's no quorum anymore. And then it doesn't go through. You wait till the other county shows up. So the problems that are being addressed here tonight are absolutely legitimate concerns if you're not sure how it's going to work. But the point is nobody can know how it's going to work because it hasn't been negotiated yet, and no one can force us to join the authority whether it exists or not. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that was a perfect explanation. It probably puts a lot of people at ease. So I would just ask that the resolution be amended to some kind of, instead of an agreement to create an authority, and an agreement to explore or apply to the local finance board, or do the prerequisites that are necessary in the statute to apply to the local finance board. Move the ball down the road, but not an agreement that says, the first line in the agreement says, we are creating an authority. So, and I would, and then I'd also request a commitment that Mr. Ridgway is not part of the negotiations with Cumberland County on that. Well, okay, then that's great, but there needs to be a Chinese wall. Which is a legal term, but so that's very comforting to hear. Thank you.
So you want to put in the title, explore the formation.
Well, how would you like that first line changed?
Well, you can either do an agreement with them to like, I don't know how far.
Well, we can't explore. We need to apply for the authority.
So then to do the prerequisites under the statute to apply to local finance board, which is you got to do a budget in the first year. You got to talk about your personnel requirements and all that stuff. It's good stuff.
That'll come later.
Yeah, but that's what you need to apply to local finance board. So if you just say you're going to,
well, then that's when we'll do it.
You agree to do the prerequisites to apply to local finance board.
We need to move, like you say, kick the ball down the road. We've had Cumberland County already approved it, and so did Gloucester County.
Like I said, I think this might be a great idea. It may be great personnel, but
We anticipate it too.
And the other thing is,
you don't have to stop.
the 55 million needs to be codified because, I don't know where that number came from, if there's been an appraisal or not.
No,
It just says you're going to get paid for your equity, but that,
There
codify
wasn't,
that 55
there was an
million.
appraisal.
Well, then the agreement needs to be amended to include that then. That's all.
Thank you.
I just want to say, thank you, Edward. My concern is that there were statements made that made me feel like not everyone on this board is on the same page as understanding what's going on. And I really think you need to take your time and so that everyone on this board knows exactly what's going on, as well as Director Laurie and Doc. I think everybody should have the same information and know the same thing so that you guys can be transparent with each other. I think that's
transparent all along.
well, from out here, the perception is not that. From out here, it looks like, wait a minute, not everybody knows what's going on.
It's the next step. It's not committing to anything other than creating an authority. Okay. We're fine to create an authority.
But
it's just the next step.
Information was on target, I felt. Very helpful. And I really appreciate it. I think from most of it, but I think the whole commission needs to be on the same page as to really what's going on.
I can assure you that this discussion has been had numerous times and nothing has changed, so I don't think there's any lack of information.
Todd Woodside. I live in the best municipality in Salem County, Iowa. Mayor on board here. Transparency, I've known Ed since 1968 from Allen Methodist Church. We cut our grass together. Ted Woodside is my brother. If you know him down the road, anything I say, he does not know I'm here. I don't know if I figure it out on him. And my wife is the director of nursing at the Salem County Correctional Facility. Charles Miller Tucky and John Kasuki have been in my barn sharing bourbons and cigars. But none of them know I'm here. And sir, your campaign sign, Ben, Commissioner, has been, and I voted for everyone, and some of you I've never met personally. So my family's been in Salem County, Iowa since 1815. I've been there since 1960, so I'm not a native yet. I'm getting a little closer, okay? Here's my concern. Ms. Coleman brings a lot of expertise. I'm a law school dropout. I do not have her expertise. I happen to be a state planner with an insurance agency with a niche of funeral planning for Medicaid purposes. So I deal with people every day who are spending from $3,000 to $25,000. I'm a fiduciary of their money. One thing is I find that when you take some of the emotions out, there's a lot of emotions here tonight, people don't spend on the least and they don't spend on the most. They're normally in the middle, and that's normally reasonable. And if our county is looking to do this for a dollar benefit, now this is contradictory to our earlier conversation that I didn't participate in concerning taxes, because I don't know if there's a financial benefit to our county if we do this. I do not know. But even if it is, and if it's this much, or this much, I live in Whitey Wood's house. We played baseball with Babe Ruth. The road was named Rick Road. Raised 4 daughters. They went to Alloway School as I did, Woodstown High School, and I did. We have a culture in Salem County. What is it, 54,000 people? I can't go to Wawa with someone saying, "Did you take my sister to the prom?" But I was my brother. And I have 2 brothers, okay? We have a culture here. I like to maintain that. In 1982, I was a young law student. John Heil, God bless his soul, he was a Democrat, mayor of Alloway, member of the Rotary Club, and all those things. And God bless Mr. Heil. But he thought this stuff we had was going to be the end all. I don't know what it is. Nothing is red over C&H. They're great people. But they go past my house and go down Whit Road. And I think Walt Leslie, when he was alive, he made me, and Walt was a smart guy, he's my 8th grade teacher. There was some type of agreement that they couldn't even go down Whit Road. But I'm not going to complain to Seattle Oak or White Oak or anyone about that. Live and let live. I don't see the financial benefit, but I'm not where you're at. And if it's a dollar, squash it. Why? I want to be clear. I'm not due process, guilty, proven innocent. I'm not equating a person, excuse me, who's been arrested and going to our local, and what we have is a jail, not a prison, going to our jail. I'm not referring to them as trash, but we already have Alloway Township, which is, it's this far from Yankton Township, from neighbors. We already have that landfill. I don't know if that's a financial benefit to us. It's created a lot of traffic. I'm not a fan of doing this only for the dollar. Because culturally, like I said, with my particular chosen profession, people don't buy the most expensive, and they don't buy the most expensive. They make a reasonable decision based on their finances, their beliefs, whatever it may be. So that's warm and fuzzy. You know, this is maybe our RFP. But I step back now, and I'm very fortunate. I have wonderful neighbors, and I have 2 SUVs and 2 pickup trucks that all have farmer tags on. They all have farmer tags on. And you know what? It cost me $19 more to put those on because of my weight limits. So I don't have to go to inspection because I'll fail. So I had the farm tags. And I'm proud of that farm tag. And our daughters grew up thinking, we're farmers and respect the farmers. I'm not a farmer. Okay? Girls had horses. Girls moved away. I still have horses. And one time a commissioner mentioned to me, you ever think about going into the farm preservation program? I said, I am your farm preservation program because of a lifestyle. I don't have enough acres to make it financially feasible. But if my one neighbor who's really a real farmer leases a John Deere tractor, and my other neighbor who's a real good farmer, I mean, these are guys with 300 plus acres, and that's their chosen profession. I don't know if they make any money, but they work hard. He leases a John Deere tractor, and I go and purchase a Kubota. I'm thinking, did I do something wrong? Why are these guys that know their stuff doing this and I'm doing this? Well, here's my thoughts. I have no inside information. My wife comes home and when she complains, it has more to do with health care, things like that, and maybe sometimes, sorry, as you mentioned, staffing issues. That's a challenge. So Gloucester County decides they're going to close their jail. And it is a jail, and they close it. In good old Salem County, here we are. Maybe we're a good neighbor. Maybe it's a financial advantage. I guess it hasn't proven to be. As the mayor mentioned, it's money. I don't know. I don't have those details. I didn't come. I'm here because I went to Dr. Decker's office, and as I was getting a prescription for my dog, not myself, I'm getting a dog there. He goes, "Are you going to the meeting?" And here I am. I knew nothing about this, but so here I am. So Gloucester County says, you know, it's smart to lease the John Deere over to Salem County. And Cumberland County, and I will tell you because I have clients here, and as sure as I stand here, please take this. This is not racist. This is cultural. They have gangs that Captain Tsuki worked with, retired Captain Jonathan Tsuki State Police, same man, Warren Tsuki, has said they are scary. And John Tsuki is a gentleman, and he said they are scary. Do I want to ride past my house? Okay, whatever. You know, I can't control the roads. Do I want the extra traffic? Absolutely not. But let that go. But do we? And my wife tells me, and she didn't send me here. So you have someone from Pennsville locked up for DUI, and they're in a cell with someone from another area because we do get feds, and they learn how to be smarter than that. I don't want to sound Mayberry RFD here, but if our jail has 125 people in Salem County and it pays the bills, I don't know why we would invite this in unless it's extremely profitable. But I'm saying extremely. You know, forget the tax issue earlier today. I'm not negating that. But would I pay $1 more? That's just an arbitrary dollar to keep so Cumberland can keep their gangs and Gloucester can keep their no pays or whatever it is they have there? Certainly I would. Why don't we just, and I don't want to sound too parochial here, but why don't we just maintain our own if we can afford to do it? Back to who's the smarter farmer. I'm not under oath. I'm not giving statistics that I know are totally accurate. Okay? Because I'm not under oath doesn't mean I'm not telling you what I believe to be the truth, but don't quote me on it because I don't have the statistics. But am I wrong? Didn't Cumberland County spend X amount of money to start a facility and then stop it? I mean, you should be aware of that. Did that not happen? Why? Do you know why they did that?
They didn't have the staffing. That's the major. There were multiple reasons, but one is they found out they didn't have the staffing.
If one is staffing, I don't know that we have anything other than financial incentive to bring people to our jail and financial incentive would.
If it wasn't significant, we wouldn't, but it is significant.
I'm sorry.
It is significant.
It is
The finance,
right. But there again, I'll go back to one of my original thoughts. If it's only for $1, let's let Mayberry RFD be Mayberry RFD. I say that colloquially, but let's let it be. If we could just break even, jails, I don't think, I have a degree that had some credits in there with criminology and things. I don't know that penitentiaries or jails were ever designed to be money makers.
No, they aren't.
So if Gloucester says, Salem County will take them, let those rednecks take them, they can have them and whatever, maybe we can pay them. And over here, Cumberland says, I don't really want that fixed facility and that fixed rate. I understand the fixed cost and more per head is 135, 80. I don't know the numbers. I understand the macroeconomics of that. But I don't know to the average citizen, and don't consider me the average citizen. I go to work like this, but I'm dressed like a homeless person. If I'm not dressed like this, I'm dressed like a homeless person. And I don't mean that against homeless people. I mean that against my chosen way of dressing when I'm working at home. I've chosen that lifestyle, okay? I don't know if $1 is a good enough reason. And I don't know if Cumberland and Gloucester County are the smart farmers leasing John Deere's and I'm less than that for purchasing. I don't know. But at the end of the day, if things go south, who has the bricks and mortar? Who has the fixed cost then? We do. And it's my concern as a county person, as an Alley Township resident, as someday perhaps our daughters will move back to this county. That's my concern.
Okay. Duly noted.
That's my concern. Now, I'm going to throw something out, and you don't have to answer it now. And you know what the answer probably would be if it came to fruition. If you would like to have someone to protect Salem County's interests on that board, I'm probably a little bit too parochial because I live as a crow flies 5 miles away. And I have to tell you right now, and I'm not here to say I'm not going to vote for you gentlemen. I voted for all of you. I also vote for Democrats. Nikki Burke has signed in my yard 1 year. And Chuck Miller has signed in my yard 1 year because this is Salem County. We all know each other and we appreciate each other. But I'd just like to say, if we take the dollar issue out and the public safety issue, which we're trying to say by taking back the ones that came, because right now they're walking through the wall on that's a problem. Take the dollar issue out.
We can't take the dollar issue out.
Pardon me?
We can't take the dollar issue out.
Okay, well, when I say take the dollar issue out, let's agree. Let's put the dollar issue right here. Okay, Cumberland, why did you trash your plans? And Gloucester, why are you dumping on us? I don't mean individually with inmates. I mean financially. And why is Salem County here? We're founded by Quakers and John Fenwick, Salem, whatever. Why are we sitting here being good Quakers? This is not about being a Quaker. It's about money. It's about to protect our public safety. And I would put public safety first and our money second. But that's only me, a little farmer from Alabama.
So Woodside, thank you.
You're correct, and if I could just address a couple of your comments with some reasoning. The minimum jail business for between 20 and 30 years. As you said, it's not a profitable business. So maybe that wasn't the right decision, but unfortunately, here we are 20 years later, stuck with that business. And right now, it is costing our county $24 million over what we are able to generate from Gloucester on that business. And that is the number that is really standing out there. Could we find some place to do away with that? Christmas, send them to have the cost. You built the jail, we'll send them to you. Problem with that is we have a $55 million facility that is paid for, and what would we do with it? Unless we were making.
Well, I'm appreciative of that, but maybe there's a balance.
But also we then have to hold back corrections officer farm, which would involve an additional investment of $22 million.
And with those thoughts, and I'm not questioning your accuracy. So if the fathers and the leaders of our county made a less than good decision years ago, and now it's costing us $24 million a year, do we keep following that path? And where are we at generations? How long are we going to take to descend? Or do we draw a line in the sand and say, we're going to lose X amount to rebalance it? I'm not proponent of reduction of force, but at some point, just through attrition, right now we have attrition, we can't even find enough help. But somewhere, if Salem County, I'm just using arbitrary numbers, has 125 on average inmates, keep the feds because they're profitable. We have that. And we know we need, totally arbitrary, 30 guards per shift and 3 nurses per shift and 1 maintenance guy. And we look at those numbers. I mean, it's basically counting. We look at those. And we're going to lose arbitrary $10 million a year for the next 7 years. But then we're clean. We're absolutely clean. I don't know that we can sublet any of it out, but it seems like that could be kicking a financial and poor decision down the road. And we're in, generations of kids are going to be paying for the same.
Mr. Woodside, good comments, and I appreciate them. If you have some more, maybe after the meeting we can sit, because there's other people who like to talk. Yes, young lady. Certainly. Your name and your address, please. Andre.
Follow behind him talking about going back in history and starting over. Who was up here using the word "it" when you were referring to inmates? And we had to feed it and we had to clothe it. I was on a Facebook call, so I couldn't understand it. But when you guys were talking and you were referring to inmates, in which it's been proven that everybody sitting in jail shouldn't be sitting in jail. And when they come home, they get paid millions of dollars for wrongful conviction. So when you were referring to these people, they were saying it. We have to feed it. We have to clothe it. I have it recorded on my phone.
If I said it, I apologize. They're people, just like everybody else. I mean.
But when you use the word "it" instead of saying him or her or whatever, that shows that you speak like that.
If I did, it was in an error, and I apologize. If I referred to someone as an it, that's wrong.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No, you're correct.
Yeah, I know. And that's going back to what he said.
No one else? Can you stand up, please?
I just want to ask the 2 commissioners who voted to table it, what their position is, what their thoughts are, because they did not participate in the discussion at all.
We get to do that after the chairman opened to the public, the direction they direct open to the public, at which point we're going to have any discussion. We have to motion for this to happen, and then you'll probably ask for discussion, and then perhaps you'll hear from us in that.
All right, I know Ed's not quite.
He's not quite.
Leroy Pierce, live at 20 Elizabeth Drive, Pennsylvania. First of all, I have to give you kudos for releasing the fact sheet that went out. An informed constituency is not your enemy. It's a great thing. It allows us, out there to hear or read what's being talked about. So it gives us a heads up on what's going on rather than coming in and beating you up. I have to give you a kudo on that. Just a couple of questions for you in reference to the proposal. First off, let me make a point. They owe us $1.5 million or whatever, Gloucester County. I agree with Mr. McKelvey. Typically, you don't deal with folks that are bad pay again. And if they're using the excuse of COVID, I'm sure you're aware, during the pandemic, the cost at the correctional facility skyrocketed. We didn't close the jail because they didn't have enough prisoners. We didn't send officers home because we didn't have enough prisoners. The cost went up. Correction officers were paid hazardous duty pay. They were paid a significant amount of compensatory time for coming to work every day for their 12-hour shift. Many of them off sick on COVID. We incurred as a county a pretty incredible amount of overtime during that whole COVID pandemic. Did we get COVID money? Possibly yes. But keep that in mind. that we have something that those two counties want. We have the brick and mortar, as Mr. Woodside said, right? And we have the land that you can add on to. So it kind of makes me step back and think a little bit. Cumberland's already approved this resolution, and so has Gloucester. So again, they want something that we have. So I would implore the five of you, the sheriff, and the solicitor and the CFO, to sit back and take your time and vet out all this information. Because the current contract that expired on May 31st, all right, there was only one beneficiary of that contract, and they lived to the north of us. Gloucester County was the beneficiary of that contract. We were asleep at the wheel at this county. During COVID, during times where the contract didn't necessarily fit, we weren't getting the money, it wasn't. So just like a football contract and a football player, time out, Gloucester. It's time for us to sit down at the table and renegotiate the contract if we possibly can. So both sides can glean some benefit from that historical pandemic issue.
Hey, Roy, we agree with 100% what you said, except for one thing. Gloucester County's not bad pay. They've made all their payments for every prisoner that they've contracted. It's that one minimum that they're complaining about. And they paid before it, they paid after it.
Understandable, understand. But how?
We agree, they owe it. But regretfully, it's going to end up at arbitration.
My point to Gloucester would be, we didn't close the jail. We didn't pull the shades down. We didn't send a correction officer.
Already said that.
So I mean, hopefully, through the arbitration process or through an administrative law judge, we will prevail.
We have a great solicitor that's on.
But I would implore you to make sure that all the I's and T's are dotted and crossed in our benefit, because like I said, they have something that
well said and duly noted.
You're right. We are in a position of strength.
Absolutely. All the correction officers currently would then become authority employees.
Yes.
So that payroll responsibility would drop from the county.
That's correct.
Budget at that point.
That's correct.
Logistically, I'm sure someone, hopefully, has thought about the logistics of, you have now authority correction officers and you have county sheriff's officers, and sometimes their missions may or may not commingle.
That once all the logistics is still down the road.
Yep.
And we can't answer all those questions until you
get the approval to have that discussion. I agree.
We're aware of that.
Right.
Okay. And then just one last closing thought. They called an authority for a reason. When you form an authority, a local governing body like the county commissioners loses some of that power. So I'm sure you're well aware of that. So, but thank you. If you have another project that's on the horizon that you think a fact sheet like that you put out on social media in the last couple of days, that's a huge benefit. So thank you in that regard. Thank you.
Hearing no one else from the public, I need a motion in a second. I'm going to take each of these resolutions. We'll do A6 first. Motion to approve A6, which is resolution authorizing the execution of a shared service agreement within the county of Gloucester for the housing of Gloucester County inmates.
Motion to postpone.
Since there's no second, can I get a motion to approve A6?
So move, Mr. Director.
Can I get a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could I get a roll call, please?
Yes, we've had discussion.
Oh, yes, you can have discussion. On my apologies. Discussion on A6.
Yes, I would like to comment as to why I wanted to table A6. And I guess we'll do that public. And a couple of things. First off, the smallest point is this. You've heard talk many times tonight, a couple of times, the deputy director and some of the public have said, we're concerned about people leaving the jail and being around Wawa and things like that. In fact, as the deputy director mentioned, in the contract for the authority, there's a whole section on discharge and release that the participating county inmates need to be going back to their respective counties. So we've tried to address that 5 years from now. The problem is we have an agreement we're signing with Gloucester that makes no mention of this. So we have the opportunity to say, Gloucester, when we take your prisoners, you need to take them back. And there has to be remedies in here because, oh yeah, we'll take them back. So we don't have in this current contract anything that says when they're released, you need to pick them up and take them back, or we will do it for you for $10,000 or something like that. So there's nothing in this contract for the next 5 years that we know is important, hearing from the public, and hearing that we put it into the authority. That's not in here. That's a small point, but it's something that I wanted to talk about in closed session because we talked about this. The other piece is we have no contract with Gloucester right now. You've heard that too. This contract has expired. The contract was for $90. Whoops, bad idea. Because the cost of an inmate is closer to $200 a prisoner. Excuse me, an inmate. I don't correct it. $200. The contract with Gloucester is for $135 a prisoner per day. Now, in my book, if I'm doing something for you and you're paying me for it, but I got to come out of pocket $70, that's going to be $65 a day. I'm not sure that's good faith. I don't know if you say, oh well, they're covering the differential cost, the incremental cost because we have so many people. We have to. So wait, where's the good faith in that? So my concern is, I'm not sure 135 makes me happy. If that's right now, we could just say, please leave. We have no contract. We've told them we don't have a contract. We could ask them to leave. Yes, our cost would be more expensive for our prisoner. Our costs are under that 200 or something, but it's 100 people, not 235 people losing $70 to $65 a day. So those are my two concerns, Mr. Director.
Thank you. Anyone else comment? Commissioners? Roll call, please, on A6. What? How about we take a 5-minute recess?
Well, I was just going to address a couple things.
Go ahead.
Your points are well taken, but a couple things. First of all, okay, Commissioner Taylor's points are well taken, but a couple things. First of all, you cannot compel a released prisoner to do anything but allow them to leave the facility. If we transport them somewhere else, it has to be volunteer. We cannot make them wait for Gloucester to get them. We cannot make Gloucester get them. And even with the authority, the plan is to have reentry assistance for those people. Second of all, you are correct. We have no contract. And we have considered your suggestion saying, come get your prisoners. That would probably be short-sighted and that we would end up in court because we cannot do that.
And yet we put it in the authority agreement. It's agreed by among participating counties that inmates discharged shall be released through the transportation unit in the county they were detained in.
You still can't force them, Commissioner.
And this wording was good enough for the authority, but not for our contract with Gloucester.
You cannot force them. The plan is to have it attractive enough to them that they will do it.
We're working on a workaround on that, possibly, to take them. And yes, it could work in this agreement, but
could it not be in this agreement? It could. Okay.
Okay.
I'll just say quickly, I have asked for this to be tabled. It has not been discussed as well as I believe it should be. We, last fall, put Gloucester County on notice that we would not be renewing the contract. And I'll leave my remarks at that.
I'll accept the roll call, please.
Commissioner Ramsey,
No.
Commissioner Taylor,
No.
Commissioner Timmerman,
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy Director Oster,
Aye.
and Director Lowry.
Yes. Pass 3-2. We'll go to A5, to accept the motion to authorize the interagency agreement for the Regional Rehabilitation and Reentry Center for Salem, Gloucester, and Cumberland counties, which both the other counties have approved. Got to get a motion.
So moved, Mr. Director.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, please?
I again believe we are 4 or 5 steps ahead of ourselves with this resolution. I'm opposed to it, and I will be voting no for it.
Mr. Director, I would like to speak to.
You certainly can, yes.
Okay. First off, Linwood, thank you very much for explaining this. This is the process, and perhaps a shared service agreement where we have protected Salem County's rights is beneficial. I mean, perhaps this is the least expensive way. We've all agreed here that incarceration is an overhead. It's not a benefit per se. How long do you think it takes to build a jail like this? How long do you think it takes to do the architectural work and all these things? By the way, that memorandum of understanding that we have spoken for, this board has spoken for before, has said Salem's not paying anything during this process. I get Linwood P saying there has to be an entity to accept all this when it happens. We know that this needs to be done. My question is, what's the urgency? Why does it have to be done at a special meeting tonight? This is something that part of our concern was always, what's the numbers? How does it make sense? Why are we spending legal time and all these things when we don't know? And if we hear it's got to go to the local finance board anyway. Show us on paper what it comes to. And we have other concerns with this. The community has spoken. We don't want to see it over 1,000 beds. I mean, this is not, once we only have a little control, what if they make this a 2,000 bed unit? What if they sell it to a for-profit organization? Now, I know all these things are things that can be addressed later, and I get that we need to know an authority can exist. I'm just not sure that this is what needs to be done tonight.
Just to address that, there are times to vote no, and this is not one of them. The time, why? Because we need to get to that point to understand. We need to create the authority so we can get the operating agreement, so we can look at it, so we can change it, we can make and as Lynn would put it, if they don't give us the authority, it's all for naught anyway. So let's get to the point where we can get the authority, get an operating agreement, negotiate in good faith with all 3 counties. We don't have to do a thing. We have, as well been said, we have the power, we have the jail, with the correctional facility. We don't have to do a thing if we don't want to. But yes, the savings are significant. We want to move forward. This is the step to move forward. It's not saying we're going to do it. All it's saying is we're going to take a step forward so we can look at it, so we can create those things, so we can negotiate with the other counties in a position of power, in a position of strength. And that's where we're at. We've all said it all along. We don't have to do a thing, but we need to make that decision. Without moving forward, you can't do the other thing. So there's times to vote no, and this is not one of them. Commissioners, anything else? Hearing none, I'll once again ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Ramsey,
No.
Commissioner Taylor,
No.
Commissioner Timmerman,
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy Director Oster.
Yes.
And Director Laurie.
Yes. Yes, it's 3-2. Is there any other public comment other than what we've already discussed?
No, I see where my vote's going. I see where my vote's going. There's 3 people up there, so share.
Yeah, we've already.
Gotcha. Jessica Bishop again, Upper Pittsgrove. I just wanted to make you guys aware of the inconsistencies of tonight's meeting. First off, we talked already earlier about the bond ordinance and hearing that you had where the ad was missing a date. You guys did it anyway. You can address that later. The special meeting notice for tonight's meeting was for budget. We talked about a lot more than just budget tonight. That's what was in the paper for the residents to know. At the start of the meeting, and also, if there was something else that we needed to discuss in addition to the budget, there's a process for that through the Open Public Meetings Act, a 48-hour notice. And we know that you knew there was going to be more because the agenda went out to you guys last Friday. The special meetings notice, actually at the start of the meeting, and I quote, the clerk of the board said, adequate notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given by of this meeting by posting notice on the bulletin board in the Salem County Courthouse and the Fish Street Office Complex. Again, like the budget advertisement, the special meeting notice was not posted on that bulletin board. It was, the location was also changed. Again, no public notice. It was put on Facebook. It's not on your website. It was not posted on that bulletin board. And if you called the township today, which I know a few people in this room did, and talked to your operator, they told them that the location was still at the Fish Street Complex. So just another inconsistency. The website actually still says, if you go on there right now, that the meeting is for June 12th.
I have it right here, ma'am. It says June 5th, Salem County, New Jersey.gov.
That was not there this afternoon.
You just said just now. It's here just now.
No. If you go on there now, there it says June 12th.
It says June 5th at 4
Okay.
o'clock.
Right. Again, called the operator today. Fifth Street.
Jessica, first of all, if you turn around, Fish Street, we would not fit there.
I get that.
The decision was made to move it. We put notice on the, you go there, there's a notice on the door saying it's been moved here. We didn't try to hide it. We wouldn't.
I'm just making, I just want to make you aware of the inconsistencies.
Let me finish.
Yep.
It
Okay.
This decision was made to accommodate the people that are here because you would all not fit in that conference room.
And we appreciate that. The budget, earlier I mentioned that it wasn't in the public library. Again, 40A 4-8 specifically says that if they're not available in the public library, they should have been read in full. So just something else to consider and may have to be redone. Also, there was a $300,000 transfer that was just approved in May that's retroactive to March. Again, another mistake. So with that, I get it. If they're innocent mistakes, I get it. But that many mistakes to the public looks like you're hiding something. So I just wanted to bring them to your attention so then you can fix them. Because Mr. Ostrom, or Commissioner Ostrom, said earlier that he wants us to bring concerns to him. The budget's not on the website. The agenda is not on the website. The Facebook page where you put information, you have the comments turned off, so we can't even tell you how we're feeling. So yes, transparency. Give us transparency, then we can give you transparency. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Yes, Mr. Woodside, you have to come up. Yes.
Whatever becomes of the authority or non-authority, and maybe this is a solicitor question, would this have any traction or possibility of becoming a referendum on a ballot?
At this point, though.
Okay, so with respect, if this elected body said we want to move to the authority, I understand that's a fact-finding issue, and then we want to move further that we're going to be the sticks and stones and whatever goes with that. That was an administrative decision of elected officials, but could you, your elected board here, make that a referendum issue? If nothing else, it could give you a little bit of breathing room that the citizens could decide as opposed to.
It's a possibility.
It's a thought.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, 256 Harding Highway, Carney's Point. I just wanted to say on that fact sheet, I feel like the two men didn't get the fact sheet that we all got. But I also want to make sure that whoever's responsible for posting when our meetings here are and what time and what is done quickly and visually. Because obviously there's things that's being put out that even the commissioners aren't having, let alone us not to see. So whoever's responsible, I hope that's fixed because that's a really important, because I think we would have at least twice the amount of what's here tonight to know what's going on in here. And hopefully everybody gets the information that we should all have. Thank you, commissioners.
Lastly, I'd like to say thank you for, this is America. This is where everybody has a chance to say their own words, what they feel, and I appreciate every single one of you being here. And whether you didn't like what we did, or it's America. You guys stood up and said what was important to your heart and your pocketbooks and whatever else. We listened. We listened. We made changes. We listened. Every single one of you, we listen, and it will help. It does help. So I urge you to come out to more meetings. They believe it or not, this is a special meeting. They're all listed on the website along with the times. Please come out again. We listen. We make. It makes a difference. It really does. What you have said tonight has made a difference. You know, we spent almost $3 million less and change things. You know, we'll push things down the road. That's fine. Just to reduce the amount of your increases, not to down to zero. It's not going to go down to zero. We have increased costs. It happens. Our next meeting date is June 12th. It's 4 o'clock. In the summertime, we have it 4 o'clock. Most of our meetings are at 6. So some people can make it in the afternoon, some can't make it in the evening. It kind of gives you a plan. But the next meeting is June 12th. We have no closed session tonight, so we'll have a meeting to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. So moved. Second. I have a motion second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. We are adjourned. Thank you again, everyone.